What do you mean you miss handheld gaming? The Nintendo Switch 2 just came out, and the Xbox and the ROG Ally and the Steam Deck and these little Chinese handhelds coming with a bunch of emulators that are completely illegal, but for some reason are not getting sued out the wazoo by Nintendo. I don't get any of that. What do you mean handheld gaming? You miss it? It's right here. It's never gone away. We still have it. I'm gonna take you on a little adventure. We're gonna go back in time a little bit, okay? We're gonna talk about this little game that this company made called Nintendo. You see, they made this game called Donkey Kong. They made it for the system arcade, which, yeah. And then they made 50,000 copies of Donkey Kong for a lot of things. It was bad. There was a lot of Donkey Kong for a lot of systems, and none of them were good. And then on the Game Boy, Nintendo was like, we need a donkey game for our Game Boy. So they made Donkey Kong for the Game Boy. And oops, they added like 70% extra donkey to this Donkey Kong game. Look at what's going on here and tell me that there's not a lot of donkeys. Wow. Donkey Kong kind of stands out to me a little bit in a lot of different ways, for a lot of reasons. When you played Donkey Kong for the Game Boy, it didn't feel like you were playing like a knockoff of Donkey Kong. It felt like you were playing its own game. It was its own little thing. It wasn't like it was like an underdeveloped version or like just some scrappy B-team game. Nintendo's handheld games, with Donkey Kong especially, it's like this is Link's Awakening, for example. It's the same kind of game as Link to the Past, sort of. You play the first game, you play Link to the Past, and then you play Link's Awakening, and you're like, that was the sequel. That there wasn't like a breach or a gap in quality. It's the same. It's all Zelda. It doesn't feel like this got passed off to like a homeless guy with a computer and told to make it with AI for some reason. But it's cool because it's played on a little console that fits in my hand, and I hold it in my hand. It's handheld. Oh, we're cooking here or something. We're cooking with our hands. And it's cool too because all these ideas are meant to be experienced in a shorter burst of time, because I might be playing this thing in shorter bursts while I'm out and about. So that's cool because I'm experiencing more stuff faster in the game. And the games come on these little awesome cartridges, and that's cool. And now I hear what you're saying. I know what you're going to be typing down in the comments. You're literally just describing the Nintendo Switch, except I'm not, because this thing is the size of my house. This is a very big. I can't put this in my pocket. I can't take this with me anywhere. Who cares about Nintendo Switch? Who cares about Steam Deck? Give me the small little sleek little Game Boys, the little DS, a little PSP. Give me all that stuff again. I don't want any of this freaking. Oh, I'm gonna play this game portably. Oh, I'm playing this big giant Steam Deck. It's so big. It feels like nowadays handheld gaming is meant to be like a comparable experience to regular gaming, and that's awesome. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with having a Steam Deck. I have a Steam Deck and I love it. It's great. But also, there's a little Game Boy shaped hole in the heart of the industry right now, where like if you want a gaming console, you want a handheld game console, it's the same price as a normal console, so that you can play the same games, so that you can play those same games at worse quality with worse performance. What? Give me New Super Mario Bros. For the DS. That was a game. Give me Metroid Fusion. Give me Zelda Minish Cap. Give me Mario Advance. Give me the 3DS. We all knew this was coming. We all knew this was gonna happen. This video is actually just a reason for me to talk about my 3DS. I mean, look at that. Look what happens when you open it. Check this out. Check this out. Isn't that awesome? And it fits in your hand. When Reggie guy was up on the stage, he pulls it out of his suit and he goes, "This is the future of gaming." We gave it a nipple. It's funny because actually PSP was the first ones to give it a nipple. Can I just say, I did not grow up with the PSP. I never had one. I never had a PS Vita, and I also never really wanted one, other than for the aesthetic of the PlayStation stuff, especially with the PS Vita. Gee whiz, that's a slick looking console. Gee, are you seeing that thing? It's schmexy, man. That's nice. I like that. But also, I can't think of a single freaking video game I'd play on any of those. Based on my understanding, the video games that were made for the PSP were not made by the main head studios making games for the PlayStation. They brought in some other B team to do all the PSP games, and then also to port PS2 games over, even though the PS2 was long and dead, but we were still making games for it because they were coming out on the PSP, which is basically just PS2. And that's great, and I love that. What wonderful job, everybody. Thank you for bringing the PS2 games to handheld. It's awesome stuff. But also, where are the new games? Where are the new games at? But then you look at the 3DS, you look at oh my goodness, look at all these games! And that doesn't ever get old for me. The OG 3DS model is the one that gets a lot of clowning on, and it's interesting because this is my favorite one. Maybe it's just nostalgia, but it's like, it's so sleek, and it's got like the cake, and it's got like it looks like a fish, and it's just awesome. And it does that. I love that so much. You open it up, look at the top layer. It looks like a movie screen. It looks like so cool. The 3DS was an interesting time for sure for Nintendo handhelds, because now we were getting into the realm where we could actually play Minecraft, except that wouldn't happen until the new 3DS, so don't listen to that. But we had games like Zelda Ocarina of Time and Star Fox 64 and Rayman 64 on there for some reason. They put Rayman on there for some, that was weird. Point is, there's a lot of, we're getting closer now in power to what you could do on a handheld previously with Nintendo. Obviously Sony was already doing it with the PSP, but you know, look at where that got them. They didn't even make any games for the thing. What did Nintendo decide to do with their newfound power? They decided to make a bunch of short burst video game experiences where the ideas flow and everything just like, I love these games. If you play Super Mario 3D Land, then you'll probably say, that level was really short. I beat it in 1 minute. What the fetch? And that's because it was really short, because it's meant to be experienced on the go. Because I can put this in my pocket, like that, you know, and then you can whip it out, and then you can be like, oh look, I'm playing Game Boy on the bus, or wherever the fetch I am. And I didn't have to carry around a whole freaking case for this guy. Anyways, what else is there to say? All the games that you play on handheld consoles now are lame. Also, handheld console has lost its sleekness that it used to have. And it's awesome little... This is the second time that I've tried to record this video, and I just can't, like, I just can't be, like, formulative enough to actually make it. The main reason that I'm making this video is because I keep seeing all these ads for Backbone, for the thing that you put on your phone, and its little controller device, and it looks really cool and it reminds me of the PSP, and it's like, wow, this would be awesome if there were games that I could play on it. But the main thing that it says is like, hey, the cloud stream it from your console and handheld gaming, and it's handheld because it's streaming from your console, so it's on. Shut up, man. Like, that's not even what that is at all. It's a shame because there's a lot of games that would totally fit the mold of like being a great 3DS game nowadays, like Hollow Knight and Animal Well, all these little indie games that would just work so well on handheld, but they don't, because there's no handheld gaming, because the handheld gaming is massive nowadays. You seeing this? I love my Steam Deck. I've got a Steam Deck over there. I love it so much. But I wish that we could have like just a little guy that I could put in my pocket again. And you can get those. But they're like $1,000. Also, what the fetch is that? What am I looking at here? This thing, I don't know what this is, but this looks awesome. That's a freaking awesome little thing right there. Wait a sec, that's actually really big. I take it back. And it's $1,700. What is the point? What's the point of any of these? What's the point of any of this? Again, so that I can play the same games on the same... Anyways, that's the whole point of really just what I wanted to say. I miss the 3DS. I've been playing a lot of my 3DS recently, and I'm like, man, this is great stuff. The games on here are great, and I just feel so cool playing video games on a little device that I can put in my pocket and take with me. Also, the 3DS was 3D, and it had 2 screens, dude. What the 2 screen? Nobody's... And it was like... They were just like putting all this stuff in there. They were like, we're gonna go so crazy with this, this whole 2 screens, touch screen, where there's all these ideas, and they were making hardware to inspire the developers to make crazier games. And now they're making stronger hardware to make more realistic games so that they can run worse than they did before. Thank goodness gaming is dying. That's a joke. If I see any gaming is dying comments, I'm gonna crash out so hard.